Back to the channel, everyone. Today I have a thrift find makeover, and then I'm going to style it. I have 4 nesting boxes that I have purchased while out thrifting or pre-love shopping, and as you can see here, they look like faux books. Well, they look like books, but they are faux books. And what you can use something like this for is easy storage along your cabinets, TV units, credenzas, dressers, in many spaces. You can camouflage a router inside of it. You could just poke a hole along the back side or the front side and turn it around, and it looks like a faux book. But what I'm going to do with it is do a little designing on it and make it even prettier. So let's get started. Now you can see what they look like without the paper wrapped on them, and they actually look kind of cute, but not for me. Here for these boxes, as you will see when I'm done with them, what my idea was when I'm using my shelving over here, if I don't have pillows that are styled on the shelves and I may be just using some things as props, then I can use these also as props, and they look like the pretty boxes that you normally see with the pretty handles on them, which will be the finished look once I'm done. Now, of course, I can go out there and spend money and purchase them, but you know me, I like pre-loved, and why not find something that is already has been in use that I could just reimagine and use, and that's what these are for. Excellent, because again, on the shelves, as you can see here, I like things that are functional but definitely are pretty. So along with that, I have different things housed inside of these little small containers along the shelves to occasionally switch up the look, and I could put them in my office and use them around the space in different areas. With that being said, along with that, along the shelving, is I could use these along with that, being pretty, but yet again on the inside they are functional, and they do serve a purpose rather than just being a decorative element just sitting here on the shelf that has no function whatsoever except for looking pretty. But that's okay too. But an item such as a shelf of this magnitude definitely needs to be functional. Like down here, I have these trays which houses paperwork that I use, invoices and such. And then again, I have things stored in these containers, and also that one down there as well. And then at the bottom, there's some more boxes that I DIY'd a couple of years ago. Again, functionality with pretty just brings about its space. Next item is going to be, again, because they're going to be the boxes, some handles. I already have these handles. I purchased them a while ago actually for my kitchen cabinets, but I never did change them out. Well, once I realized that I had bought the wrong length when I purchased them, because in my bag. But anyway, I purchased the wrong length. They were far out when I purchased them, because I purchased them while they were on hand, because they were at such a discounted price that it didn't hurt to just go ahead and buy them anyway. And I only bought 10. They were at such a low price. They were only $3 per handle, so I just bought them anyway. But they are a little too long right now for my kitchen cabinetry, so I figured I would use them again for another project. The other ones are actually going to be used in I decided I'm going to use the remainders in the other bathroom, which is the exact amount that I would need for that area. So they will continue to be used. Anyway, as you can see, they're this beautiful brushed gold, not too shiny, but has a bit of an antique finish, not too matte brushed, and I really like the color of this. They will go excellently and beautifully on the front of the boxes, which will go on the shelves or some other place in the house, which I could definitely use. Then I have this paint that I have purchased. I like to pick up oops paint occasionally from the hardware store, because a lot of times it is somewhere in the range of the colors that I may be using throughout the house, or someone else's home. So I will pick up oops paint, and this color I found was a beautiful color. We don't want it to go to waste at the hardware store, and I can't find my opener, so yeah, we'll just open it the best way we can. Who would have thought? But I have this oops paint, and this is what I'm going to use to paint the boxes with. I'll go in because it is a really good brand of paint. It already has primer inside of this particular paint. The brand is actually a Valspar paint, and Valspar X Ultra. And again, it's an excellent paint. So I'm going to give it a good shake and a good stir, get the color all together, and then I'll show you the color. So I have something on the table, as always, protecting it. And I'll just use one of my brushes and give it a good stir. I can't find a stir stick. So, because you know Chanel, she likes to paint all the time. And I really like this color. It's very light. It's not too gray. It's not too blue. It's a very pretty, but it's a beautiful in-between gray. It's not too white, light. I like the color. So that's why I picked it up from the Oops paint. I figured I'll definitely use that somewhere, which is what I actually thought about, painting the back board of each one of the shelvings, the alcoves. And that may be something that I could do. And then if I don't like it, of course, I can go back and paint it back cream, whisper white that it is. But it was a thought. And that's what my thought was when I picked up this. Here is what my thought was when I picked up the paint. Here's a quick tip for you. And I've always talked about this in videos in the past. I haven't talked about it in a few years. But always remember, it's better if you take your paint, if you want to sample the color, put it on a white backing. That way you're seeing more of its true and purest color form that it's going to show up in your room. You want to do it in light, the daylight, morning, afternoon, and evening light. And you're going to see how the shadows and the light that is going throughout the day is going to affect the color and how it looks in your space. In this respect, it is only going on some boxes, but you still want to pay attention to the color waves and how it's going to look in the room and against the other objects. If it will be too contrasty, maybe against something that you may have, a black, a brown, one of your darker grounding colors, if it may cause too much contrast. So this is something to be very conscious of. So I always take a piece of paper, cardboard of some sort. Again, rather it be on a white backing because you're going to get more of its truest color form. And in this case, I want to make sure that the blue does look good in the space. So I am going to go ahead and apply it to my paper and still look at it and make sure that I do want this color on the boxes and how it will appear. Now, once you see it's out of the box, out of the can, you can see how much more true to form the color actually looks on a white piece of paper. In the can, as you look, it has more blue. But once it hits the white backing on the paper, as you can see here, even in the space, and it's more true to form because I'm in person, it has more of a blue-gray effect. And in fact, it has more gray than it does blue. But once it continues to dry, we will see how much blue actually comes. So again, here in reference to the blues, like this particular vase, you see the blue and how contrasted it is against the cream off-white, the whisper white of the cabinet. I don't want it that, even though I love this blue, it works, it's fine. It doesn't look quite that color in person that it appears on camera. This is more of what I'm going for the consistency of the blues in the space, which I'm going to show you in comparison. That's why I say you use swatches and how helpful they are in your space and when you're putting together a space. So on the cabinet, as you can see with this vase, a lot of blue-gray in comparison to my blouse that I have on here, my shirt. And you see how the color works and is just about the same color as the vase. There's a variety of colors because of its texture that it has going on here. But it works with this. So I know this will definitely work in my unit along the space and in other spaces around the house. As you see picture here, this is how the blue looks in comparison with the handle and how they'll work together. Go in with the paint. This is a satin finish, so it doesn't have a shine to it. You have flat, matte, which is eggshell, satin, semi-gloss, and gloss. Gloss is very high shine. Semi-gloss is just what it says. It's semi-glossy. And then you have your satin, which is not flat and it's not shiny, but it's a surface that is wipeable and cleanable. Flat usually is not wipeable. Any surface that I pretty much like it to be a satin finish because I want it to be wipeable. Next thing here is they point out the inner portion, which looks like a book and has this goldish brown tint to it. I like that part, so if I decide to use it this way, I can still use it in this manner and use it like this. It can be used this way and it looks like a faux book, like old antique pages from a book. I like to use a roller on projects like this with a foam roller. It gives a very smooth finished look. And so I just load up my roller and just go in as if I'm normally painting. I'll go ahead and add the handles, or rather the pulls, to the boxes, and this will be the finished look. As always, stay inspired, motivated, and moving, creating something beautiful, if not for yourself, then for someone else. I hope you enjoyed this video and this quick tutorial of this thrift store find and makeover with styling. This has been Chanel, and I'll see you all for the next one.